going on, everybody? It's your boy DK Bones here with some Jimmy Kimmel news. As everybody would have heard yesterday afternoon or sometime yesterday, they announced that Jimmy Kimmel was going to return on ABC as it ends its suspension. So he was never fired or basically canceled. I guess it was just a suspension. Let's get into this article. Jimmy Kimmel is set to return to late night television on Tuesday. ABC announced that Jimmy Kimmel's Live will resume after a week-long suspension that sparked debate about free speech, political pressure, and network responsibility. We'll get into that a little bit. ABC explains this decision in a statement. Disney and ABC said the suspension was meant to prevent further attention at an emotional moment for our country. Executives said conversations with Kimmel led to the decision to restore the show to the schedule. So I don't know if it was just Disney bowing the knee because of all the pressure from all the Hollywood types and other people, or is Kimmel going to come back and apologize for his statements? Bob Iger, Disney CEO, and Dana Walden, CEO, Chair of Disney Entertainment, approved the move. The company stressed the choice was based on internal discussion rather than outside pressure, which is probably a lie. Last Wednesday, we made a decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive, the company said in a statement to Variety. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversation with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return his show on Tuesday, which is tonight. Affiliate pushback and FCC pressure. Suspension followed backlash from Nexstar and Sinclair, which this is important. Two large station owners who announced they would preempt the program. Their moves came after FCC Chair Brendan Carr suggested that Kimmel should be curbed following his remarks about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. However, President Trump said his administration didn't put any pressure on ABC to cancel Kimmel. Kimmel's comments included criticism of Trump's reaction to Kirk's death and a sharp monologue aimed at conservative supporters. Creative community response. Suspension drew strong criticism from Hollywood. More than 400 artists, including Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Martin Short, Natalie Portman, signed an open letter with the ACLU condemning that action as a threat to free speech. Advocating groups across the political spectrum weighed in. What happens next? If it remains unclear, Jimmy Kimmel will apologize when he returns on Tuesday. Late night history has examples of hosts like David Letterman, Bill Maher, and Samantha Bee walking back controversial comments. According to reports, following his controversial comments, Kimmel was going to double down on blaming conservatives, which is when ABC and Disney made the decision to yank Kimmel. Let's go over a few things. This whole thing about free speech, I think it's been reiterated from other people. When you work for a company, no matter where you work for, you can say what you want anytime you want. But there is consequences for some of the things you say. Depending on your contract with the company, you can't go around just saying anything you want to say, especially if it's racist, it threatens other people, just insensitive stuff. Anybody can be fired from their jobs, and it has nothing to do with free speech. Again, you're free to say what you want to say here in this country. You're not going to get locked up for it, but you have to face those consequences. And it's also speaking of that, there are certain things you can't do. You can't incite riots. You can't call somebody and threaten their lives or whatever. So you can be locked up for certain things. It just, you got to know when to say stuff and when the timing is. But going to, is he coming back tonight? This article, major breaking: Sinclair Broadcast Group, who owns 31 ABC stations, just announced they refuse to broadcast Jimmy Kimmel's show when ABC puts him back on air. Sinclair has major concerns about the show and won't bring Kimmel back until changes are made, the company said. Tuesday night, Sinclair will preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replace it with news programming. A decision with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. So Sinclair, which, depending on what state you are in, they're not going to air. They're not going to air Jimmy Kimmel. And I think this map shows like Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and Maine. And then you got parts of Utah and Nevada, and I think some parts of Oregon. So he's not going to be, they're bringing him back, but Sinclair, and I also believe the other station, Nexstar, are not going to show him. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, because I think it's all these that are marked. But yeah, I don't. They're not. He's coming back, but he's not going to get aired on Sinclair's networks. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm all about free speech, but there's a limit of saying certain things and not having some kind of pushback from people. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment, hit the like button, share, and I will see you guys later.